Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here. It is Friday now, the 22nd of September, 2023. I am in Rodanthe, North Carolina, on the Outer Banks, covering this major coastal storm, whether it is named or not. It is a potential tropical cyclone. It becomes a tropical cyclone, whatever. It's going to have big impacts. The impacts are already starting. So we're going to take a look at that, what to expect over the next couple of days, where to expect these impacts, and then I'm going to show you some of the coverage that we're doing and will be doing over the next day or so. All right, thanks for joining in and taking a look at today's video. Here's what we have. PTC 16 out here, pressure down to 996 millibars. We'll look at it on satellite in just a minute and explain the structure of it. Moving north now at 12 miles per hour, so not too fast, not too slow. There's Nigel, post-tropical now, way up in the North Atlantic, so that'll be the end of that. And then we have Invest Area 90L. More than likely, we were worried a couple of days ago that this, I say concerned is probably a better word, that it could impact the islands. It looks like there's going to be a weakness sitting out here, and that will attract our system to curve out into the Central Atlantic. So another significant ACE producer, but I don't think we're going to have any direct impacts for land from that system. So the big deal here will be, of course, PTC 16, if it does become fully tropical. Recon will be out there later today. They'll give us a good idea about how things are going with its structure. It'll be named Ophelia. So there you go. So this is what it looks like on satellite. It's starting to get a little bit more of curved banding, but it still sort of looks like a big comma or a glorified nor'easter, kind of a hybrid storm. Energy spread out over a pretty big area. What we need to look for is to see if that energy starts to bundle around some kind of an inner core and consolidate that energy and wind and low pressure instead of it being spread out. It's trying to do that. The question is, will it do so before it reaches the North Carolina coast tomorrow? There's 90L sitting out in the open Atlantic. Again, that seems to be destined to head off in this direction, then eventually turn out into the open Atlantic. That seems to be the most likely scenario right now. Hopefully that is what will happen. We'll certainly keep an eye on that in the coming days. Close-up shot here of our system. There's the low-pressure center right in there. It is trying to develop deeper thunderstorms around the low-level center, and if it can do so and the structure overall changes to where it's more concentrated, the temperatures are going up towards the center, warm core as we call it, deep warm core, then it becomes a tropical cyclone and it'll be named Ophelia. But all of that, again, is just labeling. Look at the size of that thing. Remember what they said in Star Wars when they saw the Death Star for the first time, right? That is a very big weather system causing tropical storm conditions along the Outer Banks from Cape Fear all the way up towards the Southeast Virginia area. I got to look at my phone every once in a while. Lots of stuff going on here. And that whole mess, that whole storm system there will be lifting north into the sounds of North Carolina tomorrow, and that will spread, gusty winds, the coastal flooding, the heavy rain, you name it. That's going to be happening for a good chunk of coastline here, all the way up to New Jersey, and even impacting parts of Long Island, especially on the southern end, Chesapeake Bay included. Yes, a big impact system all around, no matter what it is called. Here's what it looks like on radar. This is from Dr. Mark Nissenbaum's site at FSU. I show this every once in a while when it's relevant, and boy, it is relevant. And you can see most of the heavy precip now on the north and west side. What we're going to want to see happen if this is going to be upgraded to a tropical system instead of this more hybrid system is more banding around the center itself. And believe me, it still has plenty of time that it could do so, and it could do so right as it comes into the coast here, still organizing even after landfall. The water temperatures out here, very warm, mid to upper 80s. The Pamlico Sound, also very warm. And you've got these rivers in here, the Neuse, the Pamlico, the Albemarle Sound, and those water temperatures are warm. They really are. So this is probably going to keep trying to organize and transition to a more tropical system, more focused as it makes landfall, and that means that the effects through here, the wind gusts and the other impacts, the very heavy rain, the coastal flooding, that will be exacerbated. You're really going to feel it as it starts to organize more. In other words, it's going to try to ramp up as it makes landfall instead of weaken coming in off of its peak. This is an important tweet here from the NHC Storm Surge account, and you can see where the storm surge warnings are posted right now, storm surge watches and warnings. Pretty big area of coast there affected. And then, of course, the inundation is expected to be anywhere from 2 to 4 feet along the Outer Banks, and then the inland areas here up to 5 feet above ground level. That is nothing to take lightly. Coastal property could be impacted, Albemarle Sound as well, and these surge values could work their way up some of these rivers inland towards Kinston and Greenville, and we're talking Washington, North Carolina, New Bern, and then areas like, the smaller towns down near the wider open areas towards the Sounds, Arapahoe, Minnesota Beach, trying to think of all my Oriental. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an impactful system. And then all the way up here to Manasquan Inlet, 1 to 3 feet of surge into the Delaware Bay as well. I think you get the idea. We're talking about a pretty big, wide scope of impacts here from the coast and then spreading inland, of course, with the heavy rain. That could be a problem. I-95, US 17. We got the football weekend coming up tomorrow. NFL on Sunday in some of the bigger cities. Just a big mess all around. So we're covering it over on the HurricaneTrack Insider site, part of our Patreon supported project. And then if we go to the tracking map that we have, this interactive map, really neat feature that we've got here, built by our crowdfunding supporters and our crowdsourced folks that have helped us out with this. And we can click on these cameras here. This is the one that I set up in New Bern last night, and I'm expecting that this will all be inundated by tomorrow with several feet of water. Right now it's just kind of rainy out there. This is Union Point. By the way, during Hurricane Florence, the water came up here anywhere from 9 to 11 feet, and we had a camera that witnessed that during Florence back in 2018. Trying to get my window to come back here. So that's the New Bern camera. We've got some up on the Outer Banks. This is in Rodanthe, 4 of them, 3 of them permanently. This is the one on the Rodanthe Pier. This is the other one at the Graff residence. I really appreciate them. It takes a minute sometimes for Nest to pop these things up. This is over on the Graff's house, and let's just show this one for the time being. And then we've got one actually under this house right here, over in the corner on the backside, on the ocean side. That is this shot right here. And that's really going to be interesting to watch over the coming days, or hours and days, I guess, next couple of days. Try to get the camera to come back there. Sorry about that. See if we can go full screen. Yeah, that's really going to be interesting. It's sitting out on a column looking south down the beach there as high tide comes in today and then again tomorrow. Who knows? This could be really something to watch right at point blank range out here on the Outer Banks. We have one up here in Kitty Hawk as well, looking out at the dune system. It's going to be interesting to see, does the high tide come up here and start to tear away at this a little bit? They've done a really good job at building up the dune systems out there near the Black Pelican. So we'll see how the next couple of tide cycles work out. And I think that's about it. By the way, I am going to leave. I'm in Rodanthe now. I really want to focus on Washington over here, and then more cameras in New Bern. I'm very concerned about the surge up in these areas, especially tomorrow. So I think my plan is going to be to leave here in the next few hours. Jesse, you might hear him just off camera talking. He was helping me out. Jesse Bass, remember him from long ago? It's been a few years since we've been able to work together. Lives get busy, different things that are going on, and there he is right there. He ought to come over and say hello on the camera real quick. Just talking about the plans for later today, showing some of the camera systems that I think, as I showed Jesse earlier, some of the surge issues in Washington and New Bern here, that's going to warrant, I think, my most attention, and Jesse's going to get back up to his area near Virginia Beach and Portsmouth, as this looks like a very impactful system going forward. And by the way, this is what the GFS shows. Look at that. I mean, that's your system. I don't care what you call it, Ophelia, coastal storm, any other name, big old windbag, whatever. That is the system. And we're talking 10-meter wind, all right? This is not 5,000 feet up. This is 10 meters off the ground. And so, you're talking houses, most buildings, trees, infrastructure, 35 feet and under roughly, right? 33 feet, whatever 10 meters is. And let's drop us out just for a sec, and let's put this into motion frame by frame. This is the 12Z GFS coming in right now. Look how the wind field changes from looking odd to more rounded right there. Right there. Pressure drops to 991, then 990, and it makes landfall down there. Actually, the way the GFS brings it in, just southwest of New Bern, and then it hooks up and lingers, and then finally just kind of dies away, it looks like. So typically these systems, when they do that, that means they're tropical, because they lose the ocean warmth. If it was non-tropical all the way through, it would just go on out like a nor'easter. So this is a big clue that this is going to transition all the way over to tropical. Look at that wind. Look at Wilmington right offshore there. But boy, these winds right here. Let's see if we can zoom in.
It's been
just a little bit more.
Spitting out 989 on the pressure too. So
right.
I mean, that's just.
It's a 990.
990.
And between the frames, who knows? And it's already at 996. I would think that it's going to drop. Probably. It's time for my Fox hit. So let me wrap this up and get on. I got a Fox interview coming up. Mark Sudduth in the Outer Banks. Good to have you. See, I'm getting ready to be on Fox Weather, so check that out. We'll be live from the vehicle cam. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you later on today from the vehicle.